Well folks, how the hell are yous? Welcome back to the workshop to another power tool repair video. This one, I don't know how it's going to go. This is going to be an insta-fix video, so this has just been dropped into the shop, but it needs to be fixed up fairly quick. And I think it could be a bit of a disaster, to be honest. Customer says it just stopped and might be a set of brushes, but going by his description, I think this could be an awful lot worse. If it is, it's not going to be a good thing for Bosch. Or at least it sure as hell ain't going to look good for Bosch. This here is the Bosch GBH8-45D. I've had these on other videos and we've done repair videos on it. I think, going by his description, this could be another one of the same thing. Hold on, I'll switch it on here and see what she's doing, but we'll switch it on gently. So we want the red light to come on and not to run. Right, not good. Damn. So red light's blinking, but it's not the red light we want. Continuous red light will tell you it's the brushes and they're just worn out. Blinky red light is a major problem. Right. That ain't good for Bosch, let me tell you now, because I'll show you in a little while. This here is just a recurring problem. I can nearly guarantee what this is. We'll strip her down and confirm it, but I'd say this is going to be the eccentric gear yet again. What year is this? Because that chisel has got a hell of a lot of use. Nah, 2023 actually. It's not that old. Must be just an old chisel he had. 2023 Bosch GBH8-45D, and it's in again. Well, not in again, but it's another one we're getting, but I would say the same problem, where it's actually broken the gear teeth on the eccentric gear. I'll pull this cover off and we'll have a little peek and see if that's the problem. Either way, it needs to be fixed, and it needs to be fixed now. That's what Bosch don't really seem to understand. I've got good customers that want their machines, they want them fixed, they need them running, and they don't really want them to be laying down on them. Bosch used to be very good. When something broke or something wasn't right, they would update the part and improve it, but this year has been going on too long now. If it's this problem, they've never actually fixed it, and it's not going to be good for them. Just slacken this handle, because we just want to pull it back so we can get this top cover off. Well, we can actually turn the motor here by hand as well. I was going to say it actually does turn, but it only turns to there. It won't turn anymore. She's jammed on something, but she turns the other way. So I already know from that that is the gear. We're going to find a broken tooth inside this thing. Bosch is just destroying their name by not fixing this problem. I don't know why, because we're normally very good for hammers. So get a look down on here. Got it on high definition here so we can really see. So that's as far as she goes. You can hear the compression coming from the piston. So she's still got a good enough hammer. And that's back to where we were. So let's say the gear is actually jamming the clutch. Yeah, there we go. Back to stuck. Let me get a torch here so I can see into this. Get the wee flexi head out, just so we can actually see the gears. There we go. See that one there? Bottom of it's missing. Looks okay from the top. There's another one. The top's okay, but underneath them is where they break off, and they always break in the same place. Right. So yeah, once again, it's the same current problem with the Bosch 8 hammers. The eccentric gear teeth are just nipping off, breaking, either damaging the gear in the armature, which is a complete write off of the machine, so not worth fixing at all then, unless it's under warranty, or the teeth break and fall into the clutch and actually jam up the clutch gear. That at least stops the machine and stops you from destroying the armature on the gear on the armature. It actually saves you in the long run, as long as they don't micro weld and get actually jammed into the clutch gear, which would be again expensive to fix. Problem with this one is it's not under warranty. She's 2023 and it was on here over a year ago for repair for another smaller job. I think it was something like a cable. So I know it's not going to be a warranty repair. Can't do that there. Customer's going to have to pay for this fix. That eccentric gear is costing around €100. To see how bad it is on the inside, if there's metal debris inside of it, if there's bits broken up inside, you're going to have to do a complete service on it too, which is going to add on probably another €100. Then your labour and your VAT. If the armature's gone, you're probably under 200 or 300 extra. If the clutch is gone, you could be under about 150 extra. Hopefully, this doesn't look like it's done too much, so we might hopefully get away with replacing the crank. And if we can find the gear teeth intact and not all smashed up into smithereens, then we might get away with just replacing it. But if it's all broken, we're going to have to clean it out. But this, as you see, if you follow the channel, if you look at my videos, you've probably seen this before. That's just as a common recurrent problem now with Bosch, and it's really letting them down. We've got the gears failing on the GSH5 machines. They're just wearing out way too fast, and these ones are actually just breaking completely. So one's too soft and one's too hard, basically. It makes you wonder what Bosch is at. You don't go trying to take out silly new machines whenever your flagship machines have problems. I'm just going to give this a wee quick blow down with the compressor first before I start anything. I want to put the cover on first, just to keep this gearbox clean, just in case I don't have to wash it out. Always would have been a fan of Bosch machines, especially fixing them, because I think they're a good machine layout wise, but recently, last few years, I think they're just letting themselves down. Try to keep that good. If we can get away with reusing that, we will. Right, about the handiest way of doing this. Pull off the motor first. Yeah. To give you an idea of how much work this thing's done, look at the brushes, see how much wears on them there. They've only just gone below the surface of the brass brush holder. To put that into context of time, that is no time at all, and hasn't been run for very long. And I know because a regular customer comes on here all the time for his machines, for supplies and for repairs. I know I've never actually put a set of brushes into this, nor has he bought a set. So that's the original brushes, and that's how much work it's done. It's already broken this here gear from next to no work. To start, you were wondering if this is just a faulty batch. Then you're wondering, is it a faulty part? And you're expecting Bosch to replace it. But now we're sitting wondering, why has Bosch still not fixed this? It's obviously known, and they're just not repairing the problem. Now I can't take it out from here and just take these screws out. Go a bit deeper to get this out. To give you an idea how common this is now, these are the ones I've done before. Same eccentric gear, same one out of these here machines from other Bosch 8 hammers that I've already replaced. 6 of them I've collected here so far, and I've done more than this. It's just the last year or two, or 2 or 3 years probably, I've been holding on to these on the hope that maybe a Bosch agent will be coming around and I can show him these here and say, why hasn't this been fixed? Because as you can see, it's the same thing every time, in the same location, breaking the exact same way. The bottom of the gear tooth breaks off. That's what happens to begin with. If you're lucky enough, if this happens and it falls in to your clutch gear and jams like this one, you might be able to get away for a cheaper fix. If that happens, you're okay, but if you keep on going, you either micro weld that gear into the clutch gear, destroy that, or you end up with this kind of damage where it breaks off more and more and more, and then starts chewing up the gear on the armature, which can very easily happen because boys are doing demolition. They're smashing stuff up, they're not listening to the machine, it's just making a banging noise. When there's something goes wrong with it, sometimes they may not even notice there's that much work and noise going on a building site. The same thing, look. It's always in the same place, just behind the actual pin for the con rod. That's how common this is. Take this one out and repair that one now. Take it out to first dismantle the tool holder. This is where things get a bit messy. There's a wee C-clip on here too, covered underneath the grease. Watch as a pointy screwdriver. Don't stick it on the finger. How would you come out? That one was strand. Grease just made it more awkward. Clean down the tool holder anyway, to get rid of all the dirt. But hopefully, at least I'm hoping, I won't have to clean the whole insides. That depends if we can find the bits of this gear. That out. I can pull the whole tool holder and hammer pipe out. Try to keep this clean for now and intact. You don't have to dismantle all of it. Like I say, this is meant to be an insta fix, nice and quick. It's going to take a lot longer if we have to strip the whole thing apart, clean the whole thing and rebuild everything. But we'll clean the tool holder up a little bit. Make it a bit easier to hold too. And I'll also change that O-ring, because that's a little bit worn. And here's our problem. I did get myself. Thought I missed. Take all this out for a start. It's just your selector mechanism for going into hammer only rotation mode and your piston. We're changing this O-ring, so we'll change that one as well. So at least clean them a wee bit. Okay, these will tap out. Go. The main thing now is where is the teeth. You see how much work this done. It still has the original or fresh yellow grease on the bottom. That's how little this thing is done. Keep the needle bearings good anyway. That's feeling okay. 2 teeth broken off here. I have to wash these 2 anyway. We'll wash the clutch. We'll wash the other one just to see how much damage is on it. I think we're just going to have to wash the whole thing out anyway. There's one. Yeah, damage done to that lot. Sometimes you get it, it's just a whole tooth and it literally just slides into place like a little jigsaw piece. But that's a little chewed up. So yeah, we'll just wash this whole thing out. Wash all this, wash these down, and the bits for the tool holder as well. Well, I don't know if I need to wash that. We'll leave this side because there's nothing really to clean in that. You have to listen out for the wee ping now of that other gear tooth dropping out. Only cleaning this just to see the damage and compare. Already we can see there's more damage. Look, it's destroyed that tooth too. goes one. Something dropped. As well, you can see all the flakes. Something has been chewed up on here. Gosh, there's now how much damage was done. Clutch isn't looking too bad so far. We'll have to see how bad it is after we get it dried off. Get a good look at it. Definitely heard one. There's a piece there now. And that is just a piece. Whatever that is, that's smashed. So there's what happened to the other bits of the gear, look. Smashed into smithereens. Sort of one chunk. The rest is completely pulverized into dust. I cleaned this here before I started washing it, so that is all out of the inside of this here hammer. Even up here, look. There's quite a bit of metal in that. Right, I can see a kind of damage onto here now. So this one's failed the exact same way for a start. We can add it to this pile. Same location, first tooth broke off. So there's something to do with the harmonics on these here machines. There's some extra load just here. Everything must add up at one specific point. It puts extra load on these here particular gear teeth and snap them. So they broke off here and they've dropped down. They've taken out this one as well, and that's chewed up a lot inside. So it's lucky enough the armature is on the top one. This is what's driving this gear, so gravity is always going to try and pull it down. If it was the other way around, more than likely you'd always destroy the armature, but because it's higher, sometimes you can get away with it. So this one is actually okay. So we don't need to replace the armature here. We'll get away with that. But we didn't get away scot-free. There is damage on the clutch. So, big old gouge there. And another one here. And it has actually deformed the gear. So there is a good bit of damage there. Now the problem with this being damaged is the cost. This is actually sold as the kit. So these actually come together with the matching gear. This is more expensive than this. These cost about £90. This here costs about £145 sterling, or list price at least. So this is a lot more expensive and puts the price of this here repair way up. Now under warranty, I would just replace this, and put a whole service kit onto it, and just leave it right and let Bosch foot the bill, because they're responsible for it anyway. Outside of warranty, there's very little you can do. This makes it very expensive. So normally, what I would just do in this situation is just replace this, leave everything else the same. We'll get away with not putting on a service kit. Just change the 2 O-rings, because these are actually worn as well. So that'll keep it hammering right, but we don't need to do a full service kit. That'll keep the price down. So O-rings, grease and the eccentric gear will get this here running again, and I would actually just reuse this. There is damage, but it won't actually stop it from running, and this clutch is only meshing onto this gear, so it's unlikely that bit of damage will ever damage the new one. So I would just leave this as is, but I do have a second option, hopefully, with this one. There is a good bit of damage here, so I'm more worried this could just be sounding a bit bad or a bit geary. Especially that one, she's actually made the tooth crooked, so that will wear in a wee bit and might cause wear on the O-rings then eventually. So instead of just putting this one on, I might just see if I have a second hand one. If I don't have one, I am just going to reuse that. We'll check for a second hand one first. Check out here in the container. My buckets are starting to fill with water, got a leak, and I need to empty them. Big one's alright yet. Yeah, I think I might have rolled this already. Yeah. No clutch. So I'm speaking funny, I got the wee O-light in my mouth here. Oh, there we go. There's another one. That might do. I think we might get away with this. This is off another scrap machine. One that wasn't fixed. I would say it actually had the same problem. There's a few wee marks around the middle of it, but no chunks and no chips. A lot better than this one anyway. There's a few wee spots of rust on it, especially down here. But a quick wee rub will sort that out. That's not going to cause any major issue. We'll just clean that off. This is going to be submerged in grease anyway, so that'll not matter too much. So we'll use this one instead of replacing it. It'll save this man £150. Now, like I say, this is a problem I've seen before and a problem I see regularly, so I keep this part in stock now. This here eccentric gear, that's the part number if you're ever looking for one. 1617000A35. Type that into Google and it'll soon pop up quite a few sites. You'd imagine it's quite a popular one. That's the complete kit. A bit of grease in her and all. No screws, we just reused the old one. So this here one just goes under the pile. I'll keep that for someday when somebody from Bosch lands round. We can show them this here common failure, so there's no doubt in their mind that it's recurring. That's the one I'm using, and that's the one I'm getting rid of. Yeah. Keep it over there for now. Could even do for a backup just in case. I'm not going to bother with the heavier grease this time because I don't have the syringe filled. Pop that in. Now this one, obviously, the open part goes to the outside. Just be careful with the holes for the screws. Make sure you're lining them up. You don't want to press it on and then not have the screws fit. I'll just go for a little bit of Loctite too, because you don't want these coming out. And your O-rings then, 1600 210 080. It's always well worth your time replacing these if you ever have to strip it down this much. It just leaves it running right. This on here first, along with a little grease, the O-ring facing back the way. You see this here is actually clean. You can't see any wee metal flakes on it, so all the grease from the gears generally stays down below. And seeing as I'm always been asked, I'll just show these again. This is the grease everybody always asks about. This is the heavier stuff I normally put on the gears or onto the heads of grinders. 1615 430 001. This is the hammer grease. 1615 430 015. That's the proper Bosch stuff, not tool holder grease for your chisel. This is the grease that goes into the hammer section. This is what I just put it onto these little syringes, so it's just easier to work with. Plus you can easily measure it out. That's 50 ml. Full thing's about 60. I have a little bit on already. Now we'll just get on with the next bit now. I also just have a little bit of healthy grease here, which is just the same stuff. I'll just get some of that on as well. It's just easier to brush this on. These normally just go on together. That can sit on there. The piston sort of holds this up. You can't get the piston in or out on its own. There's another thing that just dropped out is this wee O-ring. It just came out when I was cleaning it. All this stuff's just handy because you can put it in the brush and brush it on to little nooks and crannies down in here. We can slide this on, give her a wee twist. Something's not right here. Try put this piston all the way in first. And then slide it on. What's going on there? Ah, sure, there's what's going on. That's not going to work. That's why these come as a set. They're not interchangeable. So this is the one for this gear, for the old one. And this is the one for this one that I put in. So that's why they're sold together. They must have changed this at some stage. I hope this isn't the improvement. I hope they didn't change this thinking this is going to cure the problem, because if that they did, obviously it didn't cure anything. That feels better. Try to get that on first because I have to get the sealant to the housing too. There we go. Now we're sucking diesel. And the play in that looks okay as well, so I don't think we actually do need a shim. Most important bit of the whole assembly is this C-clip. You do not want to know what happens if you try to run the machine without that. Trust me, I know. An even bigger repair bill. Your repair bill though. Because if you don't put that on, you're responsible. Now, the rest is just a tool holder. Now we get this here back onto the motor. I can't put any more grease into it until this here hole is covered up. Let's just get a little bit of this grease for that bearing. Just because it's a needle bearing. Heavy gear grease would be better for it. It's just sitting on here for now. That's the actual top cover, these 4 screws on the top cover that hold these 2 halves together, so it's just sitting here. What else what to do now? Make sure I'm right. Put the oil seal onto this first, because that's what actually has the track for it. It can sit in neatly here. And we'll get the grease onto this. Around 80 ml of grease you want on it. Just a wee touch more for good measure. Right, we're nearly there. I didn't wash out this top piece either, because that should be still clean. Just make sure this selector is going onto this here ring gear, this ring selector. You have to be matching up. Now these can hold it on. Another thing I'm forgetting is this little plastic insert that has to go on too. It just sits on there. That's actually holding on your handle at the top. And like I say, this is an insta-fix. It's for a customer, a good customer, and he's stuck without it. So it's jumping the queue here. That's why it's jumping the queue. It'd be a different story if he wasn't a customer, or if we didn't have the parts in stock. I wouldn't need to have these parts in stock if it wasn't such a common problem. Just the sleeve cover. One screw holds this on. Before I forget, before it becomes any more awkward, just get this pin back in as well. It's the only one that dropped out. Take that out again, because that's not going to fit on with the cover on. This little pin is for holding the chuck on. They need to be on first. It's just one dropped out. The rest did stay in place. Brushes are still good. It's the handle back on. Cable's reconnected. Nearly done now. Tool holder then, a wee bit of tool holder grease. This is just the general purpose stuff, for keeping the chisel cleaned out, keeping everything lubed on it. Before anything, there's an O-ring sits on top. It's not doing very much, it's only just acting like a little damper, so this doesn't rattle too much. C-clip, a ring spring, holds that on. Again, this little rubber ring is just as a wee damper to quieten it down. Spring, then your indexing disc, and your retainers, or tool stops, that's what holds on your chisel. Steel ring, rubber ring, big washer, and the big clip. Tap that down on your sleeve and your cap. And that's it. Yet another Bosch GBH8-45D rotary hammer from Bosch, fixed up again because of a faulty eccentric gear. I'll hopefully keep this man up and running this time. Now that's another one done, but this one is not a warranty repair, sadly. This one your man's going to have to pay. She's outside of the warranty. She's a 2023 machine and he hasn't registered it for the long warranty. So it's just a 1 year warranty. But these things, folks, tell what we see otherwise. If you see them in the shops, leave them on the shelf. Don't bother buying these because that there is just a recurring problem with these Bosch 8 hammers. They're not bolt right, and these gears either are too hard, they're snapping off, but I suspect it's more to do with just our harmonics. There's some load been put under at this exact moment and the actual sequence of what this is going around, especially I would say on boring mode. This here tooth here is just getting all the load right in this location, and it's just taking a double hit basically, and it's cracking off these gear teeth. And when they break, they're causing more trouble inside. If you get to it early, you're not so bad, but it's hard to get to it early because you're running the machine and it's hammering and boring, making a lot of noise. You're not really going to notice the different change in tone of the machine itself. It's only going to you're really only going to notice later on if there's more damage done. So sadly, when they initially break, you don't always know. When they break and you keep running it, there's always more damage done. That's it, folks. That's another Bosch hammer up and running. I wouldn't advise these things simply for that there problem. It's not to say it happens every once in a while. This is coming up time and time and time again. I mean, this shop wouldn't sell a massive amount of Bosch hammers, or a massive amount of this particular one, but we're getting a lot of these ones back in again for this exact problem every time. Under warranty and outside of warranty. So Bosch still haven't fixed this. It's still going on. Till they fix it or sort out that problem, I wouldn't recommend you buy these 8s, because more than likely that could happen to your machine. But anyway, folks, that's it. That's it up and running again. And this man out of a jam. That's this Instafix ready for work. So this boy can continue on working today. Anyway, thanks for watching. As always, if you're liking the videos, make sure to hit that wee like button down the bottom. And if you're wanting to follow the channel, make sure to hit that follow button there as well. And if you want to help the channel out, hit that hype button also. But till next time, folks, I'll chat to you all later. Cheers.